Hello everyone, so I figured I would do another album review for you guys this week, and I just recently talked about this album on a sort of space, and I thought it'd be a good one to do. So today I'm talking about Brandy's Never Say Never album, and let's get into it. So the first song is going to be the intro. It's cute, I don't really need it though, because it's basically just giving a preview of the title track, so it could have been axed, and whenever I listen to the album, I basically always skip over this one. Track number 2 is going to be Angel in Disguise. I think that this is a very cool one. The production is really mesmerizing and futuristic as well. And the ratio of her talking on the song to singing actually works for me, and I think that this is a really hard thing to pull off, and it's something that can make me cringe, as I talked about with Alicia Keys' song You Don't Know My Name. I really appreciate the attention to detail in the background vocals. I think it's as immaculate as it always is with her, the vocal bible for a reason, so really enjoyable just to listen to all the vocal production on this record. It's just aged really well, and it's definitely a stand-up for me on the album, and just something that is really interesting to listen to. I remember Mariah saying that this is one of her favorite Brandy songs, and it was Mariah who inspired me to get into Brandy's music in the first place because she thought that she was underrated, so I'm very thankful for that. On the song, Brandy says, Angel in Disguise is one of my absolute favorites. When I heard it, I said, oh my god, are there really songs like this? At first, it was only meant as an intro, but I said, are you crazy? We have to make this a real song, and I'm really glad that she did. I think that this is something that is really unique in her discography, and just something that is intriguing to listen to. The attention to detail with the production, the lyrics, the vocals, everything really works, so I really like that. It's a great piece for the songwriting. Nice way to truly start off the album, in my opinion. Track number 3 is going to be The Boy Is Mine with Monica. So from what I heard, Brandy was actually inspired by Jerry Springer to do this one, which is really interesting. And from my understanding, they weren't beefing until after the song came out, and then they've made up and fallen out multiple times, but I digress. And they did win a Grammy for this one, as they should. This was just an iconic duet. It was #1 for 13 weeks, making it the most successful all-female collaboration ever. And I think that the vocals from both of them are fantastic. I love the contrast between their voices, and it's just really a delight to get to hear what they're doing. I love how it progresses vocally as well, all the ad-libs and riff and runs, and the production is great on this one. I love the lyrics on here as well. I think it's super catchy, and this is just a classic R&B record. Whenever you think of 90s, you think of this song. I just miss whenever collaborations used to be events, like you were just incredibly excited for it, and the people doing the collaboration were kind of like at the same level and everything. And I mean, the girls now can't even sing for the most part, and a lot of these collaborations don't even make sense. Like, you can tell like the record label was the one behind it because they want them to go high on the charts, and it just doesn't have a lot of replay value, which is like very important. And I just like miss big events like this. Like, this was really something for the time. I think that the music video for this song was great as well, and yeah, what's there not to love about this song? Definitely a standout on the album, and I really enjoy it every time it comes on. Now into track 4, which is going to be Learn the Hard Way. The guitar really stands out here for me. I appreciate the vocal layering on here a whole lot, and this is something that's really intriguing to listen to. I think her vocals on here are excellent as always. I love all the riffs and runs that she's hitting all across the song. I appreciate the lyrical sentiment being that unfortunately you made things harder than they had to be, and you're gonna have to learn the hard way because, you know, I tried to get through to you and I am not able to. Definitely something that can be relatable, so I think that this is like a hidden gem on the album, and I've been appreciating it as I've been going back to it more. And now into track 5, which is gonna be Almost Doesn't Count. This is one of my favorite Brandy songs of all time. I love the guitar paired off with her stunning vocals. They just really go well together. I think that the bridge on here is beautiful, and I appreciate the vocals on that part particularly, and I just think that this is really well written. I appreciate the lyrical sentiment, which is that almost doesn't count. You almost doing this, almost doing that, okay, but when are you actually going to do it and do what's necessary for the relationship instead of continually letting me down, basically. In a 2020 interview, Shelley Peiken, one of the writers of the song, clarified the meaning of the lyrics. It was a relationship that was more in my head than in his, and I always felt like we almost got there. He almost said I love you, he almost broke up the girlfriend he had the whole time, he almost faced his feelings, but he never quite got there. Maybe it was all in my head too, maybe he never had any of those feelings, maybe it was all in my imagination. And so they said this was one that kind of started off as more so of a country fare, and then they made it R&B, and I'm really glad that Brandy got this one. I just think that it was perfect for the time, and I think that it's aged like fine wine, and yeah, one of my favorite R&B songs of all time, a masterpiece in my opinion. And now on to track number 6, which is going to be Top of the World featuring Mace. This one is enjoyable for me. Nice vocals from Brandy, and I appreciate Mace's contributions to the song. I think that the production works well enough, and I like the contrast that the bridge has in the song as well. And I appreciate the sentiment, which is that even though I'm successful, I'm on top of the world, I'm doing super well, I have not changed for the worse. I've kept all that matters, and I've improved as a person. In the comments on one of the videos I did, someone said that Aaliyah's Everything Is Gonna Be Alright White was kind of like the blueprint for the song, which I can see. And I actually prefer the Aaliyah track way more than this one. It's actually one of my favorite Aaliyah songs. So every time I listen to this one, my head goes straight to that. So while I enjoy this song for what it is, it's not really one of my favorites on the album. Like, I can listen to it, I think it's cute, but I don't reach for it outside of the context of the album. And for me, it just really pales in comparison to the Aaliyah song. So let me know what you guys think in terms of that, because ever since I thought it that way, I can't really get it out of my head. Next up is gonna be You Don't Know Me Like You Used To. I think that the production is decent, the vocals are interesting to listen to, and I like the lyrics. I think that this is a gem on the album, another one I've been appreciating more that I keep coming back to it. Next up is gonna be track number 8. The title track, Never Say Never. This is another one of my favorites on the album. I think that this is a solid title track, which I really appreciate. And I think that this is really fascinating to listen to with this exquisite production. And the vocals are top notch on here. Her ad-libs particularly stand out to me a lot on this one. And this was released along with You Don't Know Me Like You Used To as a promotional single in Europe, only in 2000, where it failed to chart. And I really think that this should have been an official single. I think that it could have done well. I wish that they would have given it the promotional push. Now on to track number 9, Truthfully. I think that this is a good ballad. I appreciate her vocal performance on here once again. I think that the bridge is nice. Is it a little cliche with the lyrics? Sure, but it's good for what it is. Not something I would seek outside of my own for the album, but I can appreciate it when it comes on, though I could see myself skipping it sometimes. Now on to track number 10, Have You Ever. So this was written by Diane Warren, and I think that the songwriting on this track is great for the record. And she has a very distinctive style. Whenever you hear a Diane Warren written song, you already know, and this is the quintessential 90s ballad that she is known for. She's written other songs such as Because You Love Me by Celine Dion, I Turn to You, Christina Aguilera, and the list goes on. And so this is another number 1 for Brandy. I think that it's a decent song overall. Like I said, I appreciate the writing. Not one of my favorite songs on the album, but I like it. I think that it was good for the time. Brandy's vocals on here are superb. As always, she just really goes off on here, which is a treat to listen to. And I really appreciate how the production complements her vocals as well. And I think that the bridge for this song is phenomenal. And now on to track number 11, Put That on Everything. I think that this one is excellent, one of the best songs on the album, a nice mid-tempo record. And I really like when Brandy gets into this pocket, and I wish she had more songs like this, like Angel Disguise, like I was talking about earlier. I think that the vocals are wonderful. I appreciate the writing on here. The production is really great on here. The bridge, heavenly, definitely devour that, of course. And it has some of my favorite vocal work on this entire album, which is saying a lot, because every track she's knocking it out of the park. And I can't believe that I forgot to put this in my honorable mentions whenever I did a video on my favorite Brandy songs, which are still up in the cards here if you guys want to see it. Shame on me for that, but overall I think that this is a hidden gem on the album, and this one tends to be a fan favorite, and rightfully so. Track number 12 is going to be the In the Car interlude. I feel like this is just unnecessary studio chatter. 9 times out of 10 is going to be a chop for me. I just don't feel like this needed to be on the album, something that I'm going to skip. And I get it's supposed to set up to transition into the next track, but meh, it could have been left off the album for me. And now on to track number 13, which is going to be Happy. I think that this is a really refreshing track, and it's something that's aged very well over time. The production on this one reminds me of Top of the World, and the vocals on here are really impressive. I love her tone on this song particularly, really stands out for me. Great songwriting on here once again, and this is another one that I'm coming back to, and I'm like, wait, I didn't give this one the appreciation that it deserved all the other times, and now I'm just enjoying it more when I come back to it. And now on to track number 14, One Voice. I think that this is a cute song. Nice to hear her get into her gospel bag, I will say. I think that she has fantastic vocals all over this, and I appreciate the background singers. I really think that they take it to another level, and I think that this is one that I wouldn't need to have on the album. Like, it's a good album track. Like, I listen to it when I listen to the album. I can appreciate it for what it is. I think that it's good, but it's not one that would be necessary for me. Like, I feel like she has better gospel offerings, such as He Is off of Full Moon, which is my favorite album by her. He is one of my favorite songs by her as well. I have a whole video on that if you guys would like to check that out, and I'll have it on the screen right here. So overall, I'll take it. I think that it's a good song. I can appreciate what it does for the album. I wouldn't mind if the album ended on this note. And now on to track number 15, Tomorrow. after I listened to this one again, the production is really reminding me of Love Wouldn't Count Me Out off of the Full Moon album. This song is alright to me, but it's giving filler. It just doesn't really hold up to the excellence of a lot of these other songs. This is something that I didn't need on the album, and yeah, I just was kind of bored when I was listening to it again, to be honest. Going to probably be a skip for me. Vocals are great, but just not really my moment overall. And now on to the 16th and final track, Everything I Do It For You. So this is a Bryan Adams cover. I think that she has great vocals on here, but overall this is like a snooze fest for me. I don't think that it was necessary for the album, and honestly it's just kind of there to me, and this is going to be a skip for me. Now on to my overall thoughts on this album. So I think that this is her second best album. Like I said, Full Moon is my personal favorite, and this is one of the best sophomore albums of all time in my opinion. I think that she started off really strong vocally with her debut album, and on this one she honed in her craft more. I appreciate the attention to detail with her background vocals, and I feel like she only improves upon this with Full Moon, and I think that that's an R&B Bible in its own right. The songwriting on here is well done for the most part, and there's like a lot of earworms on this one, which I can appreciate, and she has some songwriting credits on a fair amount of this album, so definitely shout out to her. I like whenever artists are involved in their music this way. I think that it only makes it better. I think that the production by Rodney Jerkins and all the other producers involved is incredible, and it suits the songs really well, and I really appreciate whenever she worked with Rodney. I think that they were just like a great duo, and I really appreciate whenever artists finds a producer, they lock in with them and they just really understand each other, and I think that that's what they had going on there. So that's definitely something that I appreciate, and overall I feel like this is a huge improvement from her first album, which I think is good by the way, but I think that the songs overall on here are stronger, like the production more, like the writing. I can listen to this album all the way through and only skip like a handful of the tracks, which is good for me. I like the album cover a lot. I can appreciate the aesthetics, and I think that this album should have ended after One Voice. Last two songs don't really do much for me. Like I said, the In the Car Interlude is going to be a chop for me, and those are my thoughts in terms of that. And I highly recommend listening to this album because it's very consistent, shows 90s R&B and Brandy at their best respectively, and it's just something that I really enjoy. It was really interesting listening to this one again for this video, seeing how my thoughts have changed over time in it, because sometimes that happens. Sometimes there's songs where I'm like, oh, this is great, and then I really listen to those songs and now I'm like, I guess I don't like this one as much as I thought, or other things rise for me. So it's just really interesting to look back at where I was then and where I'm at now, and so this is really fun to re-listen to, and I just thought that this would be a really nice moment to have a review for it on this channel, and I'm really glad that I did it. I would really love to know what you guys' thoughts are on the album. What are your favorite songs on it? Any memories that you have on the album? Any facts that you want to know? Let me know down below in the comments. Alright, that is going to be it for this video. If you wanted to see more videos on Brandy, I will have a card on the screen right here where you guys can go to. It'll be at the end of this video and linked down below in the description if you're interested. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you enjoy it, give it a like down below. It helps me out a lot in the YouTube algorithm. I very much appreciate it. You guys can also subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. If you have the bell next to that, then you will get a notification to your phone when I post, so you're not miss when Brandy videos come out. The first link down below in the description is going to be my second channel. I just posted a new video on there. This is something that I filmed in April. I finally got around to finishing it, so I'm reacting to the Covet Wetter remix, Lavender Haze music video, SZA Kill Bill music video, and much more. I give a recap on the videos I made in December and January, so glad to finally have that out now. Finally getting caught up more on there. I should have the Flow Cons review hopefully done by sometime next week, so I'm glad to be getting more stuff out over there for you guys to definitely check that out. Of course, I'm also going to have my Twitter. I've been on some more Twitter spaces recently. My mutual Michaela has been hosting, so we talked about all of Kelly Clarkson's discography, so you guys can go listen over there. And then we are talking about Brandy's discography right now as well. I may be hosting some more, probably like next month. I think I'm gonna host some more again. Like, I'll see how I feel about that, but I would like to host again, so definitely follow me on Twitter for things like that. Usually I post on my community tab whenever I'm going to be speaking in spaces and things like that. And there's also on my page, if you just hit the search bar and you just search up like spaces I've spoken in, that brings you all to the ones that I've spoken in so far. And then I always upload the ones that I host on my channel. I'm also going to have my Instagram, Spotify, TikTok if you guys like to follow me, as well as link to stream this album. Again, I'd highly recommend it. And lastly, link to educate you guys on a point situation. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next one.